Okay, it says everything's a go. Here's Kevin. I'm gonna let him in.
All right. There he is.
Mhm.
You there, Kev?
Yep, there he is.
All right.
Okay, I'm here.
Oh, perfect. All right. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the July 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. We will open with the roll call. Mr. Chiocchio.
Here.
Ms. Hofstadter will be absent this evening. Mr. Sylvain.
Here.
Mr. Haas.
Here.
And Mr. Finaldi is here. Before I forget, on the agenda this evening, there was under referrals, there was an 838 referral petition of Blasius Enterprises Sawmill Road. Please know that we will not be having any discussion on that particular referral this evening. It has been tabled, and we will take up that matter at our July 16th, 2025 meeting. So just to repeat, in case anyone is participating in tonight's meeting to listen to a discussion on the 838 referral petition of Blasius Enterprises Sawmill Road, please note that we will not be discussing that particular referral this evening. Thank you. Also note your records. Meeting is regularly scheduled meeting is going to happen on July 16th, 2025. And before I move on, I'll read the virtual meeting intro. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have the opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and the video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all of the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice. If prior to the meeting, any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Finally, please remember that technology glitches sometimes do occur. Please be patient if that happens. Looking at our agenda, the first item is acceptance of the minutes of June 4th, 2025. Again, note the June 18th meeting was canceled. Is there any discussion on those minutes, or would somebody like to make a motion to accept them?
Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the June 4th, 2025 minutes.
Motion to accept the minutes, a second by
Second.
Mr. Sylvain. Thank you. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes are accepted. Again, as I mentioned earlier, our next meeting will be on July 16th, 2025. And this evening we have one public hearing. 100 Mill Plain Road Investors LLC, application for revised special exception, revised site plan approval for conversion of professional office space to medical office space for physical therapy and sports, sections 5B, 2B17, in the CA80 zone, 100 Mill Plain Road, C14058, special exception number 728. I will read the legal notice. Notice is hereby given that the Planning Commission of the City of Danbury will hold a public hearing commencing at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 18th. Oops, make that July 2nd, 2025, in a web-based meeting hosted on Zoom to consider the following matter. 100 Mill Plain Road Investors LLC, application for revised special exception, revised site plan approval for conversion of professional office space to medical office for physical therapy and sports, sections 5B, 2B17, in the CA80 zone, 100 Mill Plain Road, C14058, special exception number 728. A copy of this application is on file in the Planning and Zoning Office for public inspection. Parties in interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard at this time. The meeting agenda will be posted. The to be posted will include instructions on how to access the Zoom meeting and application materials, or view the meeting in real time on YouTube. Arnold D. Finaldi Jr., Chairman, posted city website and town clerk's office, May 29, 2025, published in the News Times on June 6th, June 13th, 2025, purchase order number 2025-503. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this application? Attorney Beecher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. My name's Tom Beecher from the Collins Hannafin firm, and I represent 100 Bill Plain Investors, LLC. With me this evening are Tom Wamser, professional traffic engineer and professional engineer from Ty and Bond, and Arnold Gamberg, who's one of the owners of this particular building. As I stated in one of my letters that I filed on Monday, this building is a total of 77,700 square feet of usable space. In 2013, the Planning Commission approved 2,500 square feet of medical office use. A year later, in 2014, this commission approved an additional 2,574 square feet of medical office space for a total of 5,074 square feet. In 2022, this commission approved a revised special exception which permitted a total of 7,874 usable square feet of medical office use in this building. The remaining 63,826 square feet was office use. This current application merely seeks to add 1,381 usable square feet of medical space to the 7,874 square feet previously approved by this commission, for a total of 9,255 square feet of proposed medical office uses in this building. The remaining 62,445 square feet of usable space will be business office and the bank. This is a commercial arterial roadway in a commercial arterial zone, which is the CA80 zone. Now, the traffic report that was provided to you describes the actual tenant space that we're talking about tonight to be occupied by the physical therapy business, and it describes it as 5,314 gross square feet, which by formula in the regulations is 4,517 square feet of usable medical use. But all the space previously approved for medical use is not currently in use, so that, as I said, the net addition to the prior approvals is just 1,381 square feet of medical use. Pursuant to the zoning regulation formulas, this net addition of medical space merely adds 103 motor vehicle trips per day. Spread out over an 8-hour day, and it will probably be open longer, that's negligible. And trips to physical therapy center would be spaced out during the day, as opposed to traditional office use, which has the bulk of the traffic trips at the morning peak and the afternoon peak rush hour times. Mr. Wamser's report uses the ITE trip generation land use codes, and his report indicates that the net increase between 5,314 gross square feet of medical space compared to business office space results in an increase of 133 trips per day. His conclusion is based on the gross square footage of that physical therapy tenant space. That figure would be lower if he had merely looked at the incremental increase in the medical space beyond what this commission already approved through 2022. But that's not Tom's job. He did his job and I did mine. My job is to highlight for you that this commission, as of 2022, determined that 7,874 square feet of usable medical office space did not present a traffic or any other health, safety, or welfare issue, and approved that revised special exception, and that we are now seeking to just make a small incremental addition to that. So at this point, Mr. Chairman, through you, I'd like to turn it over to Tom Wamser, but when he's done and when the commission's done with questions for him, if I could then have the floor back.
Absolutely, sure. Just please state your name and affiliation for the record.
Thomas Wamser. I work at Ty and Bond, and I'm the project engineer and traffic engineer on this project. I'm going to share my screen. I have a brief PowerPoint that we can look at. So everybody should be able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent. So, here we go. So as again, my name is Tom Wamser. I'm the traffic engineer on this project. I'm a professional engineer, professional traffic operations engineer, and a road safety professional, level 2 infrastructure. So here I just want to present the layout of the study area that we assessed in this project. You can see the 100 Mill Plain Road property highlighted in the red polygon near the center of the screen. And to give your bearings, north is straight up on this page. It is located on the south side of Mill Plain Road, which also carries the state route designation of US Routes 6 and 202. So it's a Connecticut Department of Transportation owned and maintained highway. We assessed, through a conversation with the city, the main signalized intersection driveway shown in the orange circle there. That is opposite of Aunt Hack Road. And you can see the site driveways shown in blue, the signalized one within the orange circle, and there's an unsignalized one located to the west as well. Signalized driveway is egress only as well. So now I'll provide an overview of the traffic study that we performed. As Tom mentioned, we have a proposed 5,314 square foot general office to medical office conversion. That's separate from the actual approvals, just the swapping of the tenant for the purposes of analyzing the changes in traffic volumes. So we looked at the weekday morning and the weekday afternoon peak hours, and we also provided an assessment of total daily trip generation. And in doing so, we used the Institute of Transportation Engineers Trip Generation Manual, which is prescribed in the Danbury regs and is industry standard for traffic engineers to do so. I'll show on the next slide what the trip generation numbers came out to be. We performed capacity analyses on the existing conditions and then compared to the proposed conditions with the conversion to assess the incremental impacts to the traffic operations and queuing on the roadway and the driveway intersection. And here's the site-generated traffic. As you can see, we looked at the weekday morning, afternoon, and the weekday daily of what the 5,314 square feet would generate under the general office use that's currently there, as well as the medical dental office that's proposed. And then we did the net, which is the subtracting one from the other to show what the marginal change would be. So we're generating 9 additional trips during the weekday morning peak hour, 6 entering, 3 exiting, 13 additional trips during the weekday afternoon, 5 entering, 8 exiting, and then total weekday 133 trips, 67 entering, 66 exiting. And when we ran the analyses with the volumes that we collected and these new trip generations here, we found marginal changes to the traffic, about 1 second increase in delay maximum, and queue lengths that it only increased by less than 1 car length. So Time Bond's professional opinion is that this conversion does not have a significant impact to operations on the roadway. And with that, I can take questions or hand it back to Tom.
I have a quick question for you. You mentioned you use the ITE trip generation manual to calculate your traffic volume. And I'm just looking at your report. It says Institute of Transportation Engineers ITE Trip Generation 11th edition 2021. 2021, I think, COVID was still around. A lot of general offices allowed people to work from home. And even since then, there's a lot of hybrid arrangements set up so that it just doesn't seem that these big offices are what they used to be. Have they edited or changed the ITE manual to reflect the reality of what's going on with hybrids and other types of work arrangements?
2021 is the most recent version. That's when it's published. It's not when the data is necessarily from. It looks at historic data. So I guess the short answer is no, it doesn't account for changes in hybrid work, anything beyond studies that may have been done in the 2020 before it came out in 2021.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any questions at this time? For Tom, anything? I guess we're okay for right now.
Thank you.
Back to me.
Absolutely. Attorney Beecher, all you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this application doesn't include any proposed additions to the building, and it doesn't propose any site improvements. The only site work boils down to work along the roadway and at the sidewalk area. And with respect to improvements discussed by city officials in their initial reports, generally, I look to see if we could achieve some middle ground in a situation like this, which is an incremental change of the uses on the property. And here we've proposed, after my discussions with Jen and Ally, that rather than put in a sidewalk along the entire frontage, where the sidewalk would actually end up in the Still River or against a guardrail, my clients would put in a section of sidewalk on the east side of the easternmost driveway that goes to the boundary and connects to an existing sidewalk in front of the Burger King, which is the old Duchess restaurant. Secondly, that a small segment of sidewalk would be added on the west side of that same easterly driveway to connect to an existing L-shaped section of sidewalk there, which has a crosswalk ramp, but the state never put a crosswalk at that intersection. So, and I provided photos of those locations to illustrate the proposed sidewalk locations that I'm talking about. So as I said in my letter on this topic, we propose to run the sidewalk to the Burger King sidewalk, that we connect the L-shaped section of sidewalk. We agree certainly to provide new signage that's referenced in paragraph 2 of the original report from the city traffic engineer. And we'd redo the driveway markings as requested and put in new stop bars as suggested. The city traffic engineer's report from today has agreed to the suggestions. And so I want to thank the staff and the city traffic engineer for working with us on these suggestions. He also requested in his bullet point number 3 that we submit a new pavement marking plan regarding the bank-through drive-through lanes. And we're fine with that, and we'll submit those plans as, presumably, if it's all right with the commission, as a condition of approval. As I mentioned in my letter, OSTA is also going to take a look at this property as part of the process for adding this medical tenant. With respect to the comments and suggestions in Ally's staff report, I discussed these with Ally, and if the commission's agreeable, the notes and comments 1A, 1B, and 1C, which suggest adding notes to a revised site plan, can be appropriately conditions of approval. New England Land Surveying was just unable to turn this out in time. They're pretty busy. With respect to the trip generation table, I provided that table to you, and if you're in agreement, that can be a condition where that table is required to be added to the revised site plan. Ally and I also resolved comment 2A with respect to the parking table requirements, and what's on the existing site plan that you have before you is fine. The tenant table, which was the last comment, that also is something that we need to put together and put on the revised site plan. And I'm hoping that that also can be a condition of approval. So that addresses, I think, the city reports. Lastly, I just want to give you all some additional background to consider, as the city has already. Post-COVID, as the chairman just remarked, office space has been difficult to lease out. This is true in Danbury as well as in many places. This building at 100 Mill Plain Road has been just 50% occupied since at least October of 2022. And October 1 of 2022 was the last citywide property rebound date. And so I know this firsthand about the 50% occupancy because I handled a tax appeal for this property owner on this property, which we settled and for a substantial reduction in value. Why is that relevant to all of you? Well, if you can't fill the space, because real estate value is based on income. And so if a property doesn't have income, then it has a lower value for appraisal purposes. So what's good for us in terms of being able to lease this building is actually good for the city. And it's not just true for this building. I mean, the same problem existed for Lee Farm Corporate Park and other office buildings in the city of Danbury. And so here, my client has an opportunity to lease some space for a physical therapy business, and a little extra business in this building is a good thing for everybody. In closing, I think you'll find this project does comply with your special exception standards set forth in Section 10C4 of your regulations. There's no on-site construction work, so the site use and design are certainly still compatible with this commercial arterial neighborhood. There's no traffic or congestion issues, as we've, I think, hopefully established for you with this minimal change, and there's no public health, safety, or welfare issues. So we hope that you'll grant it with the conditions that we've discussed, and thank you all for your time.
And thank you, Attorney Beecher. Is there a question, Mr. Kyokyo? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I do have a question. I just wanted clarification on the square footage again, because just bear with me a second. Just tell me if this is correct, that the additional medical space for this building will only be 1381 because some of the existing medical was not in use, and so the new tenant is going to take some of the medical space that wasn't in use, so that they're actually taking more than 1381, whatever the number is. So is that okay? Thanks.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
In other words, the commission previously approved 7,800.
Yeah.
We're going to 90, whatever the
Yeah.
number.
Okay.
Yep.
And some of it wasn't used. I got
That's
it. Okay.
correct.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Attorney Beecher at this time, Commission members? Anything? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Mr. Rotello, looks like
Thank
you're outdoors,
you.
Paul.
I am outdoors. I'm in my backyard, which technically is my front yard. It's a lovely evening, and I'm all sprayed up because I was getting eaten alive a couple of
Very
years
good.
ago.
Very
A lot
good.
of bugs out. A lot of bugs out. Okay. Yes, I'm in favor of this. A couple of points to get out of the way. Danbury is migrating, whether I'm in favor of this or not, migrating towards a nexus for medical care for the city, for the region. I support that. I support it not only for our residents, but for the nearby communities that we support and support us. Attorney Beecher is certainly on point when he refers to the taxation issue. The city council last night, Paul Rotello, 13 Linden Place, Danbury for the record. I represent, you may have heard that we've done reapportionment. We've changed the borders on the wards, but this area has not changed. It's still being represented. It's still in the 6th ward, and I represent the 6th ward, at least until November. And who knows what's going to happen after that. And I'm losing my train of thought here because that's the scariest. This whole November thing is, every 2 years we get the heebie-jeebies. So yes, Attorney Beecher is on point in the sense that taxation is always an ever-present specter. The city council met last night, as a matter of fact, dealing with 3 previously empty buildings in the Danbury Square Mall. Thankfully, one of the 3 is fully occupied and the other 2 are under lease and should be occupied soon. However, there has been a hit. This is all post-COVID, and we know what happened during COVID. So there has been a hit on that. And we hope that it's not a tremendous amount of money, about $100,000, $150,000 a year. And we're making that up in other areas like license plates and things like that. But it's something that we have to keep an eye on. The issue of traffic, you know, I will leave to the traffic experts. I looked at the map. It doesn't seem as if there is going to be a huge hit on Mill Plain. In my opinion, and I don't think it's particularly arguable, a Mill Plain is over capacity. I'll tell you a brief story. I got on the zoning commission in '97, and one of the very first decisions we had to make concerned big box stores on Mill Plain. This was in probably March or April of '98. And the petitioner told me, well, told us, everybody on the commission, you don't worry about it. The state is going to widen Mill Plain Road. Now, this is in 1998. 2008, 2018, what is that, 27 years ago, and the state, as we know, has not widened Mill Plain Road. I go to Costco once in a while, they widen that road. It's great. You can take you got a left-hand turn to the chicken place, and Brookfield's getting it done, and New Milford got it done, but not Danbury. I don't know. At some point, I'm sure Mill Plain will be widened. But in the meantime, it's difficult. I think Commissioner Salvain brought this up, or maybe it was Chiocho, brought it up about COVID and work from home. And not only are people working from home in terms of people going to office buildings, but they're also there's telemedicine has become a popular aspect of the medical business. And it wouldn't surprise me if some of the potential patients to this building didn't actually go there, but physically, but went there by phone or by text or by Zoom or something like that. So it's possible that in the future, the increases that are purported for a medical center versus a retail or commercial building may need to be refined. So I wouldn't really hang my hat on a traffic study from a traffic definitions from 2022 that were probably put together pre-COVID. A lot's going to be changing. A lot has changed. I think that we'll just have to wait and see on this. But we are very sensitive about left-hand turns on Mill Plain Road. Councilman Shinesi and I both keep a close eye on this. I think Councilman Shinesi may have produced or forwarded a letter to the commission on this subject. He said he was going to. I'm not sure that if he did or not, but I can tell you that his main concern was traffic on this issue. And that's my main concern as well. Not as much of a concern that it would take me from the positive to the negative. I support the project. I wish the petitioner good luck, and I hope that it serves the community for years to come. We just need to be cognizant of the fact that the traffic of all the issues on Mill Plain, and there's quite a few of them, traffic is the primary one. There is a little daylight between Attorney Beecher's position and mine when it comes to sidewalks. As we know, the state of New York did a trail from basically Brewster to Farrington. City of Danbury is continuing that trail down Mill Plain to some extent, Lake Avenue, Mill Plain, eventually terminating at Terrywell and maybe even hooking up to points south like Norwalk. In my opinion, it is important that we connect these sidewalks. It's really easy to say that they don't go anywhere, so we don't really need to extend ours. But if that was the operating principle, they would never be connected. And we would be a community, and we are this community, and I hope that we don't remain this community, where council people like myself are sort of castigated by new arrivals who say, you know, I can't walk down to the store to get a coffee because there aren't any sidewalks. How is it a city of Danbury size? And I explained the difference between the town of Danbury and the city of Danbury and consolidation and all that stuff. The city had sidewalks, the town did not. And we've been trying to integrate them for, 50 years. But, it's been 50 or 60 years. We should be working a little bit harder on integrating them. So I would hope that the sidewalk could be fully built out in front of this project. That's all I have. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, you know, I'm here, but if not, carry on. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. What year did you say you got on zoning?
97, Arnie, November of 97.
You were on
I'm
with
sorry,
me.
Mr.
I think it
Chairman.
was earlier. Yeah, you sure it was 97? I thought earlier. Anyway.
Well,
You and
it's
Chianese, the
28
old-
years ago, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
Tell me about it.
if I get reelected in November, I'll be doing this for 30 years,
I know the feeling.
which to
Right,
me
thank-
does not seem like a long time at all. But I talk to some people, and the first thing they say is, "Are you still on the council?" And I say, "Yeah, I used to ride to Deer Hill on a dinosaur." It went by in a flash, but yes, it's been a 97 was the first time.
Okay, all right.
I
Well,
think.
thank you for
Thank
your
you.
thank you for Paul for your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Of
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, another former zoning guy, Mr. Chianese. What's going on?
good. To your point, I was on zoning with you back in 98, 99, when the Mill Plain Road came up and the Trader Joe's, which changed it to do retail in the 4 lanes. So we go way back.
I was there.
And Joanne, that's right. Joanne was there, right? We
That's
remember
right.
the good old days. For the record, Ben Chinese, 5 Briar Ridge Road. Again, I apologize for my camera. Is my laptop or iPad is not doing well. Yeah, as Councilman Rotello did say, I did submit a letter for the last meeting that was canceled and postponed to here. And some of my issues was I'm not objecting to the change to the medical use. I think that'll be an asset to the community and to the ward area there. My concerns at the point was, and this comes from people who actually worked in the building, as not too much entering the building, as more exiting the building. They said it takes 15, 20, 25 minutes to exit that building when Mill Plain Road backs up, which starts around 3:30 to 6 o'clock sometimes. Mill Plain backs up. And I know there's no left turn. However, they do make the left turns, which causes more issues. So I know I came to this meeting late and I didn't hear any responses about how to prevent cars from actually making that left-hand turn out of the lot or even going around Carluzzi's and going through using that light. Because I think there's a special exit to where they can use the Carluzzi's light as well. But that was more where my letter was concerning more about the traffic exiting the parking lot because they block the exits. So even though you want to make a right-hand turn, you can't because the line of cars go all the way down the street. And I think I suggested, I think we've seen them, the zebra stripes where you can't block the box, so to speak, in a way, so cars don't block these exits, so cars can actually exit the parking lot and make this a better facility as well. And also, you got to keep knowing that a new firehouse is also being planned along Mill Plain Road and probably going to be down from this project. So that's going to have an impact as well as traffic backs up. So I just want to put that on the record and see if the applicant can even address those concerns, because I know the lights are a city issue, but the lights are never timed correctly to properly adjust for traffic. So I don't know if that could be mentioned as well, way is how to make that intersection there where they can exit easier than being stuck in the parking lot. And as we all know, when we get stuck in the parking lot, we're always going to try to find a way out. So those are my concerns, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
No, that's
Again, I am in favor of the project. I just need to understand and make the project better. Thank you.
Yeah, Ben, I think you said the lights are a city issue. The lights are actually a state issue. At the current time, I don't believe, and I'll defer to Jen or Ally, I don't believe the city synchronizes the lights on Mill Plain Road. Is that correct, Jen, at the present time?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
It's again, Mill Plain Road is state, and the state governs the timing of the signals.
Yes. And I just wanted to tell Mr. Chinese, your comments are well taken. I guess you live on Briar Ridge. I'm up here in Rivington, so we're the west side representatives of traffic on Mill Plain Road. I get this funny feeling we're going to be talking a lot more about traffic on Mill Plain Road, but your comments are well taken. I know from personal experience, sometimes exiting that parking lot can be tricky when nobody in line on Mill Plain Road stops and gives you a break to cut through. I've seen that. So that's an issue of drivers not being courteous rather than sheer volume. But your points are well taken, and I agree with your comments. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Anyone else in favor? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this application? Anyone in opposition? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition rather, of this application? Any comments, Tom?
Just briefly, I understand Councilman Chinese's concerns, but the block the box, and I think in his note to staff, there was concern about people running red lights and when people are trying to make a turn, and that's really not the property owner's fault, and hopefully the city can work with the state if there's a timing issue on those lights. I certainly would think that the city of Danbury could speak to the state about that and perhaps get that fixed. But again, this is a small incremental increase in the medical use, and hopefully it's treated that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Beecher. Any question members, any final questions for the applicant? Anything? Jennifer, are we waiting for Ally? Are we waiting for anything from any departments?
No, all staff reports are in.
Okay. Well, commission members, if you're comfortable closing this public hearing and we have no open items, or if there aren't any other open items, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Kyokyo. Do I hear a second?
Okay.
Mr. Haas. Thank you, Kevin. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Would somebody like to make a motion to move this to item 1 under old business for discussion and possible action?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvain. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Haas. Thank you. Again, a motion's been made and seconded to move this matter to item 1 under old business for discussion and possible action. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving along in our agenda, we have nothing under continuation of public hearing, so we're going to go right to item 1 under old business for discussion and possible action. 100 Mill Plain Road Investors LLC. Application for revised special exception, revised site plan approval for conversion of professional office space to medical office space for physical therapy and sports, sections 5B, 2B, 17 in the CA80 zone, 100 Mill Plain Road, C14058, special exception number 728. Public hearing was closed this evening, which is July 2nd, 2025. Anyone have any thoughts or any guidance for staff? Perry.
I guess I would say I agree with a lot of the comments that have been made, especially by the council members. My concerns were about traffic, but I agree with Mr. Beecher that some of these concerns are probably more societal issues and enforcement issues and needing some state and city, collaboration to fix these problems. And I agree with your comments, Mr. Chairman. We will probably be dealing with this a lot more, and we'll need some real solutions. I'm familiar with the property, and I've seen the level of use, and it's fairly low in terms of the feel. Not a lot of traffic flowing in and out. I think it could handle more in that respect, and it's going to be nice to see the building, get back into a more, occupied, increased use. In terms of sidewalks, I agree with Mr. Rotello's comments as well. In the long-term interests of the city, I think we want to see, an improvement in our sidewalk system, a proliferation of sidewalks, especially in areas that we're now seeing, become more residential friendly. You have a mix of pedestrians for business, residential uses, et cetera, parks, as Mr. Rotello mentioned. So I'd love to see more proliferation of sidewalks where we can. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sylvain. Anyone else want to comment? Any thoughts?
Good.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with Mr. Sylvain's comments, so I'm nothing else to add, really. I think he
Thank you.
covered it very well.
Thank you, Bob. Kevin, any thoughts? You're okay? You're okay?
I agree with Mr. Sylvain's comments.
Yeah, Mr. Sylvain summarized it very well. I would just throw in, being familiar with the site, being the West Sider guy, the parking lot also is never full. There's plenty of parking there. It is tricky, as the applicant mentioned, the site exit is egress only. So there's 2 lanes, you can take a left or a right with a signal. And I've had people pull in the exit while I was there. So, but what are you going to do? I mean, that's just driver error. Nothing you can do about that. So I'm in favor of it too. So I think Jen, Ally, you've got your guidance there. Okay. As I mentioned, the only referral on our agenda was the 838 referral, the petition for Blasius Enterprises Sawmill Road. And we have tabled that, and we will be discussing that at the July 16th, 2025 meeting. Speaking of Mill Plain Road and traffic and all those types of things. So next meeting, we'll be discussing that one. Under new business, commission members, you'll see a couple of things coming up. Tower Investment Group, that'll be August 8th. The other 838 for Old Ridgeberry, that will be our July 16th meeting. One item under correspondence. Other than that, that's our agenda. That's it. Am I missing anything, Jen? It feels like I'm missing something.
No, Mr. Chairman, you're not.
Good. Okay. Well, then that's it. Commission members, unless there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Kevin. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let the record show the meeting is adjourned at 7:45. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.